Hello guys, welcome back to our Unity 3D tutorial. Last time we created a ground for the player to walk on, and we created some directional lighting. Um, we also imported the first-person controller that comes default with Unity in the default Unity package. Today I wanted to go over just how to create materials and add a little bit of color and depth to your scene. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to create new material. And we're just going to call this player. We'll go over here to just shader, and we'll just keep it on diffuse, most of the time. There's different things you can do with the shaders. You can make it sprite. You can make it self-illuminate itself. There's better resolutions for mobile. There's transparent cutouts, things like that. We're just gonna leave it on diffuse for now. And we're just going to make the player just a pretty blue color. Once you do that, you just grab the material and drag and drop it on your player. Drag and drop it on your player. There you go. It was going on to the camera. We'll just go ahead and we'll create a new material. And we'll call this ground. And we'll set its color to green. Just give it a little bit of color, And we'll grab that one and we'll set it on the ground. There we go. We're going to go ahead and create a third 3D object, a game object. We'll make it a cube for now. Now you'll notice when you create empty game objects, they're never quite on the ground. And they can fix that, but we're just going to go ahead and put that on the ground for now. Go ahead and create a new material. And we're going to name this enemy. Let's go ahead for the enemy. Let's just check out a different shader just for the fun of it. Let's do self-illumination diffuse. You notice it is a shiny, like a gloss almost. So we'll take the main color and we'll make the enemy red. We'll tile its gloss to 2 by 2. Even though we don't really have a glossy texture. We really don't have anything in Unity defaulted. Well, that's fine. We'll just go with none for now. We'll tile its illumination 2 by 2. Anyways, we'll go ahead and drag that material onto the player. And you'll see he's like really bright and shiny. I mean, you can't even really tell where his 3D edges are. Let's go ahead and make this a specular diffuse, or a specular shader. And now you'll see it really looks kind of nice, Another thing I wanted to go over in this tutorial, before we actually get started into a lot of scripting, is I want to go over the user interface just a little bit for those of you that have no experience in Unity whatsoever. What we got over here is we have the hand tool. You basically move your scene around. You can't move objects with it. You can just kind of move around your scene. Here we have the move tool. With this you can move everything in your scene on the Z-axis. You can go on the X-axis, and you can go on the Y-axis. Here we have our rotate tool. You'll see that you can rotate things on the X-axis, the Y-axis, the Z-axis. You can rotate everything. Here's your scale tool. That can be used to make items bigger or smaller to scale according to whatever you like. And this is the new rect tool that was added in Unity 4.6. It basically allows you to transform the rect manually of a UI object. We'll get into that a little bit later. Here's 2 buttons that you'll be using a lot. One's pivot, one's center. Let me show you the difference between these real fast. let's say we choose our enemy and we want to rotate him. Well, if it's on pivot, you'll notice how it just pivots along a pivot point. Well, if we choose center, you'll notice how it flips a different direction, or how it flips a different way. Global and local. Global is the object's position relative to world space. So say right now we're on global. If I rotate it, it's going to rotate according to its already position in global space. Local, let's say I have like this, let's say we put this cube a parent of the plane, and then we rotate it globally. You see it just rotates that way. But if we rotate it according to its local position, you'll notice that it's not transforming relative to its global position. It's only transforming relative to its position to the plane, not relative to its position in world space. We're going to unparent that for now. Here you can show different ways to view your scene. You have textured, which is the way it is now because we put materials on the objects. We got wireframe. There's textured wireframe. I use this sometimes. It depends on what you're doing. There's render paths. It shows you the path of the rendering. And this is light map resolution. We're probably not going to get into light mapping in this tutorial series, but we will at some point, I'm sure. This is your console. It's right beside your scene window. You can always also go to Window, go to Console, or just hit Control-Shift-C, or Command-Shift-C, I think, if you're on a Mac. The console window will pop up any errors that you have, any warnings that it's giving you, or any debug.log statements that you choose it to. We just pulled our scene window out of there. There we go. This is the color mode of your scene. You can have it to go alpha. You can overdraw the scene, and you can have it show the mip maps. We're probably not going to go into mip maps or light mapping in this tutorial. We may go over alpha, but more than likely not. We're just going to leave it on regular RGB channels. That's red, green, blue. How do you like that? Red, green, blue. This is the default button for 2D or 3D. You can make 3D games, or you can make 2D games in Unity. If you notice on 2D, only his position, well, only position forward and backwards, well, side to side now. Only side to side motions will get recognized. Now you can see in the game view, in the actual game view, that he's nowhere near the box, but it looks as though he's overlapping him here. That's just the way the 3D works. If we were to set the camera to orthographic, it would be even more two-dimensional, especially in the game view. Here we can turn on or turn off Unity's built-in lighting. Like say you're working in a dungeon and there's not very much light in the game, you know, just a couple torches here and there. Well, your scene view is going to be really dark and you're not going to be able to see much of anything. So you can turn on the built-in lighting and it lights up everything in the scene view while leaving everything unlit in the game view. This here toggles all sounds on and off. Here are gizmos. I don't really mess around with gizmos much. There's a lot of reasons that you will mess with gizmos, but we won't be doing that in this tutorial. Also, here's a search bar. You can search for anything in your scene, and it'll highlight out everything else and just basically show you in textured color the thing you were looking for. Also, we have the play button and pause button for your game. You can test your game in either maximize on play view or just regular view. And this is your hierarchy. It shows you everything that's been put into your scene. And your project panel and hierarchy are sort of the same, as this shows everything that's in your scene, and this here shows everything that's in your project. And you can create folders here. I mean, you can make material folders, scripts folders, texture folders. This is your inspector. When you do certain things in scripts, make them public variables, you can, as you can see, there's things in this inspector you can change. Say you set a variable in your scripting, like gravity to equal 1. Well, since it's public, this gravity will show up in the inspector. Whatever you set in the inspector will override your script. Everything's controlled from the inspector first and foremost. So even though your script says gravity equals 1, but if your inspector says gravity equals 15, then that's what gravity is going to equal. I guess that's about it for the user interface that we're going to be using in this tutorial series. Join me next week, I guess, maybe, for part 3. If you like this tutorial series so far, remember to like and subscribe.